Feeling stuck? Yearning for more? You're in the right place. This is Midlife Moxie with Nicole Hate, where you're going to get a weekly dose of courage, clarity, and maybe a little bit of chaos as we navigate our best chapter yet, midlife. Welcome back to Midlife Moxie. Last week, we grabbed shovels and started digging up the woman that you buried. Today, we're excavating something even deeper. Your voice. The one you swallowed so many times that it forgot how to rise. This episode is called Silenced No More. And if you've ever choked on your own truth, smiled when you wanted to scream, or felt that familiar burn in your throat when you knew you should speak but didn't, congratulations. You're about to meet your voice again. And honestly, she's pissed about the wait. Let me tell you about the silencing. Maybe some of these quotes are going to feel familiar to you. Children should be seen and not heard. Don't be difficult. Good girls don't make waves. Keep the peace. Be nice. These are 5 commandments that trained you to strangle your own voice before it could escape. And we learned them young, didn't we? Learned that our survival and even hell, our own worth, depended on how well we could shrink, accommodate, disappear into the wallpaper of everyone else's comfort. You see, the good woman industrial complex doesn't just want you buried. It also wants you mute. I played that game for decades. The good girl. The team player. The one who wouldn't rock the boat, even if it was sinking. But here's what happens when you swallow your voice for too long. It starts rotting in your throat. It turns into rage in your jaw, tension in your shoulders, a scream locked behind perfect teeth. You know that feeling, that pressure building in your chest when someone asks you your opinion and you give them what they want to hear instead of what's true. That knot in your stomach when you say yes, but every cell in your body is screaming no. That exhaustion, that comes from performing agreement when you're drowning in disagreement. That's not peace. That's spiritual suffocation. Here's what the surface dwellers don't understand. Finding your voice isn't about talking more. It's about excavating the truth you've been trained to bury. It's about remembering that your voice isn't a privilege to be earned. It's your damn birthright. When we silence ourselves, we don't just lose our own voice. We become accomplices in a system that requires women to be voiceless to function. Every time we swallow our truth, we teach our daughters to do the same. Every time we smile through our rage, we model self-betrayal as virtue. But when we speak, even with trembling lips, even with shaking hands, we crack their foundation. We become living proof that the good woman simply doesn't exist, that she was always a performance, that underneath her silence was a woman with shit to say. Let's start with the most insidious silencer, the disease of yes. You've got it bad if you say yes to shit that makes your soul shrivel. Agree to help out when you're already drowning. Accept invitations from energy vampires because it would be rude not to. Take on extra work because someone needs to, and apparently you're the only one with functioning hands and a functioning mind. Why do we do this? Because the good woman industrial complex convinced us that our worth is measured in how much we give until there's nothing left. That saying no makes us difficult. That boundaries make us selfish. That protecting our energy makes us not nice. And not nice for women trained to be human giving trees, that feels like social death. But here's a truth that they don't want you to know. No, the word no is a complete sentence. Not no because, not no, but maybe later. Not no, I'm sorry, I wish I could. Just fucking no. I remember my first real no. I was asked to join a committee at work, one of those committees that, it's an honor to be asked type of situation that actually meant unpaid labor on top of my already bleeding schedule. Old me would have said yes in a heartbeat and then bitched about it to my husband. But then I would show up anyway with a smile plastered on my face. But inside I was resentful. But during this request, something inside of me had finally just had enough. Something in me was done drowning. I looked my supervisor in the eye and said, I'm just not able to take that on. Period. End of sentence. No apology tour. And there was seconds of silence that was deafening. They were waiting for an explanation, a softening of myself, but maybe if. I never served that, and it never came. And you know what? Nothing happened. The world didn't end. My career did not implode. But something inside of me woke up. The woman who had been buried under decades of yes finally took her first breath. So, how do you excavate your voice after years of people pleasing? How do you go from human doormat to Woman Who Speaks. Here's what I'm going to call the Voice Excavation Protocol. Step number 1, start tracking your silences. Every time you swallow your truth, write it down. Every time you say yes when you really mean no. Every time you nod when you want to shake your head. Every time you feel that burn in your throat of words wanting out. Don't judge it, just witness it. See how many times in a day you betray yourself for someone else's comfort. Step number 2, practice micro rebellions. You don't go from silence to roar overnight. Start small. Say things like, "Let me think about that," instead of being an automatic yes. Take 24 hours before responding to non-urgent requests. Express one tiny preference. Maybe it's where to eat, or what movie or TV show you want to watch, or even you want to go for a walk in the direction you want to go for the walk in. Say things like, "That doesn't work for me," without explaining why. These aren't just words. They're your archaeological tools, digging up the voice that you buried. Step number 3, ask the dangerous question. When you feel that familiar choke of self-silencing, ask yourself, what would I say if I wasn't afraid? And then notice what comes up. Notice who you're protecting by staying quiet. Notice whose comfort you're prioritizing over your truth. And here's a spoiler alert. It's never yours. Now let's talk about what you're really afraid of. Losing people. Because yes, when you stop being the always available yes woman, when you start having opinions that don't match theirs, when you stop performing agreeable, some people will have feelings about it. They'll call you difficult, high maintenance, maybe even bitch. Good. You know what bitch means in the good woman industrial complex? It means you're no longer controllable. It means you're taking up space. It means you're using your voice for something other than their comfort. These days, I wear bitch like a medal. It means I'm in my power. It means I'm no longer available for exploitation. It means the woman they buried is walking around above ground, saying inconvenient truths. Some people will be uncomfortable with your voice. Some will try to push you back into your silence box. Some will even leave. Let them go. Anyone who needs you voiceless to love you was never loving you. They were loving your performance. They were loving your compliance. They were loving how easy you made their life by erasing yourself. Their discomfort with your truth is not your crisis to manage. Let me give you a personal anecdote about a day that I found my voice in a rather inconvenient time. I was in my corporate job and I was in a big office space in a meeting. There were important people in the room, and little old me was just an employee. I wasn't in management, and I really wasn't anyone important with a title. There was a project that was being discussed that I personally knew was going to fail because they were missing crucial ground level information. Information that me, a frontline worker, had. Information that would save time, money, and face. I felt it. That flutter in my chest, that feeling of knowing. But also that old training. Don't challenge authority. Don't make waves. Stay small. Stay safe. Stay silent. But the woman that I had been excavating wouldn't shut up. She was done watching train wrecks in slow motion just to keep powerful people comfortable. So I spoke. Not perfectly, and not without my voice shaking a little. But I spoke truth in a room full of people who weren't used to hearing it from someone like me. Of course, the dirty looks came. The discomfort was palpable. But you know what else happened? The entire direction of that project shifted. My perspective, the one that I had almost swallowed, saved them from a massive mistake. Did they thank me? Of course not. But I walked out of that room different, taller, more solid, more me. That's what finding your voice does. It doesn't just change your life. It changes every space you enter. Because a woman speaking truth is a force of nature they haven't figured out how to contain. Your voice isn't just about you. Every time you speak your truth, you give another woman permission to speak hers. Every time you say no, you show another woman it's possible. Every time you refuse to shrink, you expand the space for all of us. The good woman industrial complex depends upon our silence, our compliance, our performance of agreeability. Your voice is how we burn it down. So this week, you have a voice excavation challenge. Track your silences, every single one. Face the evidence of how often you betray yourself. Practice one micro rebellion daily. One no, one that doesn't work for me, one truth you'd normally swallow. When you feel the choke of self-silencing, ask yourself, what would I say if I wasn't afraid? Then notice whose comfort you're protecting with your silence. And a bonus round for anyone who feels they might be an advanced excavator. Say something true in a space where you'd normally perform agreement. Watch what happens and document the aftermath. Your voice has been waiting for you, patient but furious, ready but rageful about the delay. She doesn't need to be perfect. She doesn't need to be polite. She just needs to be free. And yes, finding her will cost you. It'll cost you relationships built on your silence. It'll cost you the approval of people who need you small. It'll cost you the false peace of swallowing your truth. But here's what you gain: yourself, whole, unedited, unsilenced. The world doesn't need another nice woman. It needs women who speak truth like their lives depend on it. Because they do. That's our time for today. If you felt your voice stirring during this episode, come find the Facebook group. This is where we practice speaking truth, celebrate every micro rebellion, and where we document what happens when we stop being nice. Subscribe if you're ready to excavate your own voice. Leave a review if you want other women to find theirs. Share this podcast with anyone you can, anywhere that you can. And remember, they silenced you because your voice is powerful. Time to prove them right. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're just done being quiet. And now it's your time to speak up.